Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to explore Azure Bastion Host. So here, as you can see, we will be accessing the virtual machines using the Azure Bastion Host. So instead having each virtual machine a public IP address to access those VM, we will be using one Bastion host with a public IP address. And through that, we will be accessing the VM using their private IP address. So it can be either Windows host or Linux VM. So if it is Windows, it will be 3389 for the RDP port number. And for the Linux, it will be port number 22 for the SSH. So here, as you can see, there is a dedicated subnet for the Azure Bastion host, and all the virtual machines will be in a different subnet. And also here you can see that there won't be any public IP address for the virtual machines. Okay, so the user can access the virtual machines using the Azure Bastion host through their private IP address, whether RDP or SSH based on the VM type. So now let's explore how we can set up this, and we'll see the hands-on for this lab. Okay, so I have logged into the Azure portal, and currently I have a VM that is running in the central India, and it has the public IP address. So let me start this VM. Okay, so it is running straight, and I'm going to copy the public IP address, and using that I'm going to log into this VM. Okay, so now we are able to successfully log into this VM using the public IP address. So what we are gonna do, so we will be set up the Bayesian host, and then we will remove the public IP of this virtual machine, and then we will be connecting this VM from the Bayesian host. Okay, let me search with the Bayesian. Click on create Bayesian. So here I'm going to select BHRG, and this is the name of the Bayesian host, and leave it in the central India. So here I have selected the tier basic. So there are developer basic, standard, and a premium SKU. So you can see the difference here. What are the difference between different SKUs? So here developer SKU, basic, standard, and premium. So you can see the difference here. For example, connecting to the target VM, which is, can be done across all the SKUs, but when it connects to the target VM in the paired VNet, then it is not, allowed in the developer SKU. And similarly, you can compare the differences between these SKUs. And here, connecting to the Linux VM using RDP is not allowed in the basic SKU, and then it is available on the standard and premium. So now we are going to choose the basic SKU, and here the instant count is 2, and here we have to select the virtual network. Okay, so the reason we don't see any virtual network is here the instance region selected as a North Europe. So let me make it Central India, because currently our VM is running in that region, and we have a virtual network already exist in that region. So now if I click on this virtual network, here we can see that there is a VNet available. And then we need to select the subnet. Here we have only one default subnet, and as you can see the error message, to associate a virtual network with the Bayesian, it must contain a subnet with the Azure Bastion subnet. So we need to have this subnet created in this VNet so that we can select that subnet, and also prefix of at least /26. So let me click on this manage subnet configuration, click on create, and here give the name Azure Bastion subnet. Okay, and subnet purpose, here you can select Azure Bastion. Okay, and I'll leave it with the default address, and this is /26. Okay, and click on add. Okay, now we have the Azure Bastion subnet created with /26. Now let me go back and select this Azure Bastion subnet and configure the IP address. So we need to have the public IP address, and this is the public IP address name. Okay, I'm going to rename this Bastion host public IP. Okay, and click on next for advanced. And here, these are the Bayesian features. Bayesian allows web-based RDP access to your VNet VM. So I have leave it with the default, copy and paste. Okay, go to the next. Okay, click on create. Okay, so let's wait for this Bayesian host to be created. And meanwhile, this is the VM that we have RDP into it using the public IP. So let me go ahead and remove the public IP of this VM. So go to the network settings, go to the interface, enter IP configurations, click on IP config, and here you can see the option for public IP address, and to disassociate, and just check the box and click on save. Okay, now if I go back to the VM, you don't see the public IP address here, and it has only the private IP, which is 10.0.0.4. Okay, let's see the status. It's still creating. Okay, so the deployment has been completed. Click on go to resource. Okay, so this Bayesian host have the public IP address. And now let me go to the virtual machine and click on this. Click on connect. Connect via Bayesian. So here using this Bayesian and provision state succeed. So here we are going to use the authentication type VM password. So enter the username Azure admin and enter the password. Okay, click on connect. Okay, a pop-up blocker is preventing new window. Allow this pop-up blocker. Okay, so here see text and images copied to the clipboard. Okay, now as you can see, we don't have the public IP address, and we can still connect to the VM using the Azure Bastion host. Okay, we can also copy paste from outside to this VM. That is also allowed. Okay, and this way we can, restrict the VMs exposing to the outside world. And so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.